worry about my kids, so then that helps them. No, the worry isn't what helps. You being a parent is what helps. Worry doesn't help. So worry and fear are unnecessary in life, unless you just want to cause strife and anxiety. Like, because worry and fear cause you to make decisions that are done out of worry and fear, which are not the best decisions. They're not like sound decisions, because you're like, I'm doing this because I fear this will happen. Does that make sense? So that's not a reason to do something. You do something because it's the right thing to do, or it's the thing you need to do, or whatever, which is the right thing to do in your own life. You know, you don't do it because you fear. That's why they try to put fear in people about laws, and that works a little bit, but you see people speed, and not that much fear of a speeding ticket. I mean, it's like a little bit, but fear and worry doesn't really help. So people have to, like, you're going to have the people that are going to follow the laws, like the speed limit, whether they're worried or feared. The cops are just going to be like, oh, this is what they're saying to do. And then you have the people that can try to put some fear and worry in them, you know, to slow down, but it doesn't, you know what I mean? They're just like, they're still going to do what they want. So that's kind of what a lot of laws are trying to scare people, you know? Like, if you do this, this would be your punishment. That works for some people, but some people, it doesn't, because they go, well, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to worry about the outcome. That's not the best plan either, because that usually means you're being, like, not good. But, you know, I feel that if you're doing the right thing, and you know when you're doing the right thing, not what other people tell you, you just know in your own personal life if it was a right or wrong thing, like with every step of the way. When you're doing what you feel is the right thing, then I feel that the universe kind of lines things up. So you don't have to have fear and worry. But when you start kind of like doing things that are wrong, then you'll start to notice like all these roadblocks. Like you'll have like, oh, I stubbed my toe. Oh, I hit every red light. Oh, I missed my flight. Oh, see, I was not doing anything too bad because they got me to my flight, just in the knickers of time. But if I was being like, I mean, I made some silly karaoke, but you know what I mean? But that was it. But I felt that if I had been, and anyway, I mean, I know I'd been mean to people, but I apologize about that and tried to make things right. But I think if...
Car keys, I'm taking Gloria to the club.
Oh. Alrighty. Gloria's going to go to the gym. That's good. I always like when Gloria goes to the gym. That means she's feeling good. And things have changed so much from back in the day. We used to have like these conflicts about like Gloria going to the gym or going to go dancing. Now, like, I love when she goes because it means she's feeling well. And she really enjoys it. It was hard in the beginning because Gloria had always taken care of Annette, but not very well. But she didn't like the idea of other people kind of coming in to, even though she needed that. So now we all kind of like do our part and stuff. So it's very different. It's going really well. And when I leave, it actually goes really well around here. Like, it's not as clean as when I'm here, but it's not nearly as dirty as the other times that I've gone. Like, when I came back last time, I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, Casper's not the happiest with how dirty his little area gets, but he loves Rich too, so he's not horribly upset either. I just got him some new balls yesterday. Oh gosh, he was up all night with those things. He's tore apart so many already. There's like 9 of them that come in a set. He tore up like 2 of them. He's so funny. Now he's finally resting. He was up all night. He usually is up all night. And I often put my, earbuds in there. But when I take him out, he's all night. He's scratching and biting and chewing, and he just makes so much noise. Bunnies can be really loud or really quiet, per their choice. And when they can be loud, they can be loud. Like Casper, when he wants to be loud, he comes out and he sails into his litter box. When he makes this like huge, like, and then the litter goes everywhere. And then he starts like thumping, and then he starts like chewing like as loud as he can, like on his lettuce and stuff, like, and like on all this stuff. And then he'll come and like sit by you eventually, like if you're like still not getting that he wants you to get up. And he'll come and just stare at you. So I'll get up. He really loves it. And when you're up, if you're walking around, if he wants attention, he comes and darts at you from under the bed. Like you know how bunnies like run at each other? It's so cute. So you'll be walking and he comes like running like full speed at your foot. we've never like hit him in any way. Luckily, like he doesn't do it where like you could like kick him. Luckily, I know cats that'll like run through your. He doesn't run through your feet. But he's lucky because he puts himself in bad spots, but we've been so careful. We've never stepped on him in any way or kicked him in any way on accident, you know, which is good because if we ever did, he'd be a lot more skittish. He doesn't even realize, like, we like walk around him. He puts himself in the worst spots, and like at night we have to turn the lights, otherwise you might step on him because he just sprawls out. And we've never, thank goodness, because he's so like, he's so what would you call it? He just trusts me and Richard so much, which is so good, because I would hate if he was skittish around us. And it also makes him pretty trusting of other humans. Not fully, but he warms up pretty quick. He really liked Amanda Panda. Because he's just never had any bad experience with a human, as far as we know. I mean, since we've had him. And I don't think he did before us. I mean, the other guy was really sweet, and he said he got it from like 2 little girls with their family. That the bunny had just had bunnies. So he doesn't even realize how spoiled he is, because he's like dominates the whole room. He's such a little prince, and we spend so much money on his silly little things, which, you know, I'm a cheapskate, but this stuff's expensive, like the bedding and then these little toys. They scam you with the animal stuff. But I can't not get him stuff, because then otherwise he chews on everything if you don't give him toys. So he's a little spoiled guy, but he's so sweet. But anyways, I do miss Casper when I go to New York, and I miss Richard and Gloria and Nanette. Like, I really do miss everyone, because I actually really like being with my family. I'm not the most social person, but I've always liked being with my family. So I know this isn't my original family, but this is my new married-in family. So I've been with them for 13 years, so they're my family now. So I have a hard time being away from my family, and that's why I do tend to get weaker in my ability to fight my addictions, because I realize I do rely on my family's support, and just having them around, also like having things to do. Like when I'm in New York, you know, I'm really OCD. You guys don't fully know this because living here, you would never know, but if I didn't live here, you might see a little bit when I'm in New York, but like I'm insane about like organization. And like even like I don't let anything fall on the floor in New York on the ground, you know, because I don't like them to always clean my rooms. You know, I don't stay in a room too long, but so I usually, you know, if it's like 2 or 3 days, I don't really want them coming in, so I just make sure to keep it perfectly clean. I take out all my trash. I have everything. As soon as I get to a room, I put out all my stuff. I unpack as soon as I get there. Everything, I have it all set up. Even if I'm gonna leave like the next day, I'll unpack everything and repack it. I'm not like that, because I don't like living in suitcases. So I always like put everything away, and then I'll repack it. But I don't make messes. Like even if I'm drinking, I mean, oh my goodness, I don't think the biggest mess I did was I dropped water in the lobby twice at the other hotel. It was water. That was like a little cup, you know, like those little solo cups, not even solo cups, the little tiny ones. And I went to grab it, and I like, you know, the little spout thing, and I don't know what happened. Like hit it and then fell. I was like, forget it. So then I come in another time. Forget it. And I was like, forget it, getting water in the lobby. You know what I'm talking about, you guys, you know, those drinking fountain things with the little cups. I dropped 2 of them. And like I mean, it was water, so it didn't really like, it wasn't like a mess, but it was still just like, I think this lady was busy at the front. I threw out the cup and walked away, and there was like water. Not that much, you know, it was a little cup. But yeah, I don't know what was going on with that. I could not figure out the thing. Every time, because the thing that pulled it back to, you know, dispense the water would hit the cup, at least the way I was doing it. And I was like, because I thought it was just a one-time thing, and by the second time I said, forget it. I'm not trying to get water in the lobby anymore. Make a mess of water everywhere. But I'm excited to go back. I thought it was going to be October, but actually I'm looking forward to it. I'm already like really planning in my head, which is always like, what are you going to talk about in the life? I'm like, I don't think I can talk about anything but New York, because this is like in my head right now. Like it's just New York, New York, New York. Like I'm already planning, you know, how to even get to my hotels already. I do sometimes like map it out almost. How am I gonna get there? It's harder to map from here. I'm just kidding on that. But I do kind of start planning, like, how am I going to get here, there, and, you know, how much money do I need when I get to the airport, or when I, you know, like, because I think I have some money maybe on my Omni card. They switched now, they don't have Metro cards anymore, they have Omni cards. I think you have Metro cards for a tad longer, but you can't refill them. And now we got these Omni cards just for the subway, if you guys don't know. And I think I have some money on mine, but probably not, it's probably empty. I try to put some money before I leave, so when I come back I can have some money on it, but I'm sure you can call a number to find out your balance. But I usually immediately put like $20 on my Omni card. That's for the subway, because it's $8.75 to take the air train, and then it's like I think it's $2.95 for the subway. And the LIRR is either $5 or like can be up to like $14 depending. But I usually take the subway. I spend my $2.95, but you have to spend $8.75 first. It's such a ripoff to me. Because it's very short. The air train is very short. It's just the thing from the airport. But that's where they get their money. Because the subway is only $2.95 anywhere you want to go. And then this tiny little air train, they charge you $8.75 or whatever it is. I think it's $8.75. I think it was $8.50. I think it's $8.75 now. It could be $8.50. I don't know. Anyways, I'm really excited. I'm going to start packing pretty soon. I'm waiting for a couple more of my items to come in. Richard got me some shoes and some more dresses, which I'm really excited because I was kind of tired of the dresses I was wearing, and I needed to kind of change it up. So I didn't think about that before I went. I was like, because I was trying to figure out what I was going to pack, and now I'm like, oh, good, there's some other options. Because I do often see the same people, so I don't want to be wearing the same outfit every time. I don't have different ones, but you know, you want to change it up a little bit. I already have some appointments scheduled, so that's exciting. I'm not even there yet, and I already got appointments scheduled. And I arrive on Thursday night, I think with the time change. I think I don't arrive till night. I'd have to look. I leave early, but you lose 3 hours when you go to New York, and it's a 5-hour flight. So, and you know, there's always like the major delays where, you know, you add 3 hours onto that. You know, like, so I leave pretty early in the morning, but I never usually get to New York till evening. It's usually dark when I arrive there. I leave, it's dark here, and arrive when it's dark there with the time change. But I like going on Thursdays now. I used to go on Wednesdays, but it was just, it's too long, because the weekend is the good times for business, the best. So like Wednesday might not be, but Thursday starts to be. But I don't even usually want to work Thursday, unless, you know, someone has to see me that day. So it's best to just start with Friday, you know, because that's like the best day to be there. So I'm excited for that. And then I'll come back, I think. Oh, Richard booked my return flight. So I'm coming back on Tuesday, the 16th. September 16th, I return Tuesday. So it's basically the same as last trip with I leave Thursday, return Tuesday. I did the exact same thing last trip. So crazy. I was just in New York last Tuesday. Not the one like 2 days ago. What do we got? The one week ago Tuesday, is that how we say it? Yeah, last Tuesday would be like 2 days ago, huh? A week ago Tuesday, is that how we say that? I was just in New York on the 12th of August. And now I'm going back September 4th. So it's going to be about 3 weeks in between. A little over. I think it's good. Kind of like becoming like my routine of my job. So it's kind of, if anything, easier to kind of keep with the routine of going rather than sit here for 2 months waiting to go again. It's like go, then be here a month, then go again, you know. Because it was either going to be, because I wanted to go October wasn't going to work, so it was either wait all the way to November, but by then we would be like so broke, we would be like so behind on everything with the way Vegas is going. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but doubtful. So the option was now or get really behind. But when I thought about it, I'm like, actually, this kind of seems better, because I was always wanting to go in November, but I hadn't thought about, like, I was wanting October and then November. That wouldn't make sense, because you can't go December. That's like Christmas there. It's very popular. It's very expensive. So it's best to go November and January, to go September, November, January. So I actually was throwing off the rhythm by thinking October, So actually this makes the most sense to go September, November, January. And that might be, I mean, in my mind, I'm not envisioning further trips than that. There could be, but I don't know. This seems to be like I'm kind of thinking it probably will be September, November, January, and I don't know after that. But those could be the last ones. This could be the last one. It just really depends on when Vegas turns around. But so I'm trying to enjoy each trip of like, I'm in New York, like make sure to make the most because it could be my last time going to New York. Because I don't really want to go except for maybe to go see a game with Rich on a weekend or something. But I don't really want to like be a tourist in New York. It's not really my trip. I like being touristy when I'm there for work, but I wouldn't just want to be just a tourist. Like go there, because for one thing, it's so expensive for everything. So I'm just such a cheapskate that it would make no sense. I'd be like, why are we spending this much money? We're not making any money. Like that's just too logical like that. So that's why it's hard. So that's why it's kind of cool when I get to go to like one of these really expensive restaurants, because even if me and Richard had the money for that, I wouldn't want him to take me. I'd be like, oh, no way. We are not spending that kind of money on food. Like I just, for like a restaurant, like the guy that spent like $600. I mean, part of that was wine, but still, it's just like, no. So when I go when someone else is paying, it is kind of nice just to have that experience once, but I am not a fan of these fancy restaurants. I don't know. It's just not my trip. I don't know. I just don't get it, the cheesiness of it. And everyone just like, the waiters are just like so over the top with their spiels of cheesiness. I don't know. It's just too much for me sometimes. Like, they're just kind of like, I don't know, because they're basically, licking each other's asses. Like, like, oh, it's so wonderful. But, I don't know. I guess that's what people go there to feel the VIP. But I don't know. I don't need that. I don't like it. I prefer to kind of, I don't know. I'm not really someone that really wants to be, like, waited on like that. Like, have, like, a waiter coming over. And I mean, like, I can handle a bartender, just because that's an environment, but like, even that, I sometimes feel bad when I think about, like everyone else is sitting here drinking and then they're just waiting on everyone, which is fine, it's fun being a bartender at cocktails, but it's just, I'm not really someone that like likes to like have me be having fun while there's other people waiting on me and they're not having fun, like while they're working, where some people enjoy that. That's why like I don't like getting my nails done or my hair done and things like that, because it's like the idea of like, or even massages by strangers. Because, like, you're paying someone to do something they don't really want to do, you know what I mean? They're doing it because they're getting paid, but it's, like, it doesn't really make me feel, like, comfortable when I'm sitting there and I'm, like, she's just, like, trying to get you out of here with the massage. I don't know. And I feel bad for the person. I'm like, oh, they're going to get carpal tunnel or something. And so it's just hard for me to enjoy things like that. But if my client is paying and I'm kind of in a way forced to go in the sense of like, not forced like it's a horrible thing, but just like it wouldn't be my top choice, but since I'm going for work, then it's like, well, cool, I'll enjoy it. And I've had a good time at the couple of restaurants I've been to now in New York. It's been a good experience, but yeah, on my own, would I choose to do that? Hails to the no. Especially the lunch I went to, that was like, I think the second to the last day I was there. I think it was my last client. It was like a 4-hour lunch. And it was just like appetizers. And I was just like, oh my God. And he was someone that only eats fish. So he didn't want like beef. I was like, oh. So everything was like fish kind of stuff, like seafood stuff. But better than nothing, but I'm not the biggest fan of seafood. Richard loves seafood. I like it a little bit. Not that much. But I don't know, it just didn't, it wasn't like, it was some French restaurant. And I was just like, I don't know, it was like this, I think that tab was like 400 or something. And I was like, for lunch? It's just, I mean, these cocktails too, but still, it's crazy. I don't get these things, spending that much, but people go for the ambiance, and I don't know. I don't know. But, it's cool to experience these things, and to say you did, but, check it off the bucket list. Don't need to keep going. Unless my clients are paying, then of course I will go, but it would not be like where I'm like, oh, Rich, we need to go check out this really expensive restaurant. I'm more like, can you believe how much? But what me and Richard's first date was, besides our first date where we like just wasted all day, is we like ran into each other at a bar. But our official first date was he took me to this really nice restaurant in Portland, and we had a really good time. But I think that date was the date I told him like I had an eating disorder, because I was like, yeah, I don't usually go to restaurants because I kind of struggle with food stuff. But he was very understanding of that, and he was like, I've had an eating disorder too, don't worry about it. So, and then he was very sweet about like pairing the wines with the different appetizers. We did tapas at this place called Andina, I think it was called. It was really nice, and we did these like tapas, and we had like different wine. We drank like three cups of wine, because I remember we had like a different wine for like each different cup, not like bottles. What do you call them? Glass, not cup, wine glass. But he knew I wasn't a big wine person, so he was picking like very like mild wines like rosés and stuff. So it was really fun. We had a good time. That was one of our fun. And then right after that, we went to a blues concert together in Portland. And then after that, I think we hung out every single day for pretty much until 2020, when I had to leave Panama to come back to Vegas. Was the first time we had been like apart since 2012 to 2020. So like 8 years we had never spent a day apart. But then in 2020, Richard stayed in Panama and I came back to Vegas for like 18 days. That was our first time apart, was 18 days. We went from like no days apart for like 8 years to like 18 days apart. So that was really, and Richard was in Panama all by himself, which it was during the pandemic, so it was just like everything was shut down, so it was just like locked down. But he had a good time, because there was a roof pool. That's when he got like super fit, and he was making all his music and stuff. So it was Christmas though. He spent Christmas alone, and then he almost spent our actually he did spend our wedding anniversary. I think I got back on the 2nd, because our wedding anniversary is January 1st. So he spent Christmas, New Year's, and our wedding anniversary alone that year. And then I got back, I think, on the 2nd, and so we celebrated like Christmas and everything. But I was in Vegas, so I wasn't really alone because I was working. So when Richard was just sitting there, I felt bad. But he had a good time. But then I think I went twice when we were in Panama. I can't remember. We were only in Panama for 2 months, and I think I came back to Vegas twice. So yeah, I did. So yeah, so I spent about a month in Vegas when we were really in Panama for 2 months. I actually was in Vegas for a month of that time. Richard was in Panama for 2 months. But the first year, we were both in Panama the whole time. I never came back to the States. We only went when we went in November 2012, and then November 2013 is when we came back that time. And that's when we moved to Vegas. We weren't planning on moving to Vegas, but Gloria was here, and we were like, well, I had already started this job I was doing in Panama, so I was like, well, I guess I could work in Vegas, But we had never thought to come to Vegas. I didn't want to live here because I don't like the heat. Like, I don't like it that hot. I've gotten more used to it, but my first year here, I thought it was melting. I was just like dying. We lived near the strip, so it was just, and our car AC was terrible. It's just like life was torturous. But now I've acclimated a lot because I've been here for so many years, and we live in Summerlin, so it is much cooler too. On the really hot days, it makes a difference. Those couple of degrees difference from the strip to here, it's huge because we're right near the mountains, so that really helps. But yeah, sometimes when you're down by the strip, you're just like, you just want to die. It's so hot. And if you don't have a good AC in your car, and if your car sat out in the sun, as we lived in an apartment sometimes you could cover your car, sometimes the covering wouldn't cover the car, because those ones where it was a shade thing. Sometimes the way the sun was, it wouldn't cover the car, so your car's just baking in the sun, and then you go out there and it's like 1,000,000 degrees, and then your AC doesn't work great, and it's like, no AC works great when it's like 112 and you're trying to 115, starting to get the car going after it's sat in the sun all day. So my first couple years in Vegas, I was not the happiest with the weather during the summer. But now summers don't bother me that much. I mean, I was out there a little bit. I can't last that long, like this morning, but I used to not even bother to go outside if it was summer. I'd be like, no way, Jose. I didn't even used to always wear sunglasses till I moved to Vegas. Now I can't even imagine. Like, if I go outside now, I feel like my eyes are bleeding without sunglasses in Vegas. But my first year here, I don't even think. Richard was like, you should get some sunglasses. Because I was like squinting. Because I have hazel gray eyes. so they're super duper sensitive to sunlight. Like if I go like this one, go outside, if I have sunglasses, it's like it's so bad, and I feel like my eyes are bleeding. So can you guys see this? Can you guys see this? There's a little bunny here. Have I told you this was Richard's father's thing, and it happened to be a white bunny, the only one we have left, and it just happens to be a white bunny. Awesome. I don't know if you guys can see it. Did he come back from the taking Gloria to the gym? I don't even know if he's back. Did he come back? I can't remember. I can't remember if Richard's back or not. He was taking Gloria to the gym, and I don't know if he's back or not. Excuse me. It's attractive. Swallowing me. So yeah, I'm having a hard time really thinking about much other than New York. And it's the only, I would say that's one thing that I hope, I don't want to like, I don't want my family or anyone to think that like, I prefer New York to being home, because I don't. I really don't. But since I'm going to New York, I make the most of it, and I love New York. But my ideal thing, yeah, would you know, I mean, not yet. I actually am like, I'm ready for a couple more trips. I could, like I said, 3 would be really great, but more than that I could probably do. But, you know, in 5 years I'm still doing this, no, I don't want to be going to New York anymore. But what I'm saying is, right now, I'm kind of enjoying it, but at first I didn't want to go. But now that I've been going, I'm kind of getting used to the routine, and I'm like, okay, this is just my life right now. Versus like, the alternative is just sitting here waiting for calls in Vegas, you know, that never come in because it's so slow here. And people think it's just me, you know. If it was me, I wouldn't be able to go to New York and get business. It's Vegas. I worked in Vegas for years, and when it's busy, I'm busy. When it's slow, I'm slow. It's just the way it is. And you're too old or ugly or whatever. Sorry, it doesn't really play a factor. If it's busy, it's every girl gets a call pretty much. But Vegas is so slow that it's just ridiculous. So when I go to New York, it kind of feels like how our life used to be, and I realize as much as sometimes I would get irritated with being so busy, it is good for me, because when I just sit around, I tend to get more depressed. I tend to, you know, want to eat or want to drink or whatever, you know. Your vice may be when you're just sitting around twiddling your thumbs. So we, for years, were always so busy with this job. Like when we lived near the Strip, and Vegas was busy. So I got used to always being busy, that now it's a little bit harder for me to kind of like preoccupy my time. And so going to New York, it's back to the busyness. So like, I think that's what I kind of like, is like just that energy of like doing something, if that makes sense. Because here, you know, I have my chores and stuff, but like when I have work here and my chores, then that's like a perfect day. Because then it's like a full day, you know, and it actually can be really busy, and we can barely get things done when I actually work. But when I don't work, I can get most of my chores done pretty fast, and then we're kind of just like, and we're trying not to spend money, because if your money's not coming in, you don't want to spend money, so we don't want to just go like busy ourselves doing something. So it's kind of like, we don't even want to spend gas. There's no point to like just go for a drive and it's 1,000,000 degrees outside. So it's kind of like, okay, keep yourself entertained and don't do your addictions that, you know, were recent, but then just sit here twiddling your thumbs. And so, and people say, oh, start painting. All those projects are very hard if you like are just recently coming off addiction, because you're thinking about your addiction and like, oh, let me go paint the walls. And like little chores are easy for me, but like things that are like more cumbersome, it's harder to motivate yourself to do those things. And so going to New York has kind of broken up the monotony of when, especially Vegas during summer. Vegas, September, October, little in November is not so bad, but Vegas, June, July, August is like so boring. So I think going to New York has given me like kind of just like a little bit of a purpose. Otherwise I'm sitting here and I'm thinking like, I'm not working and we have no money coming in, like what are we doing? Like, you know what I mean? So, and we're spending money every day, but no money coming in. Whereas in New York, it's a real sense of like, oh good, I'm making money, I'm getting things done, we'll be able to, you know, survive. And I'm also just busy all day, you know, I'm doing something. Because I'm not someone that likes to just watch TV all day. I don't. And I end up having to sometimes, but then I struggle with, when you're sitting there watching TV and every ad is like about food or alcohol or whatever, as you're trying to not do these things, it actually is hard too. Like there's so many, like we're just constantly like bombarded with addictions if you're not, you know, busying yourself. And people that sit at home do usually struggle with those things. You know, people that work from home, it's much harder than if you go into an office and, you know, and you're away from the things, or, you know, you go and you work at a store or whatever the thing is. You even work at a bar, but you're working, you know. So I think when I'm in New York, I like that I'm busy. And that's what we liked about New York too, but it was too much. So that's the problem is, if I were to live in New York, I have to be too busy. Like I can't keep up with the pace. But in Vegas, it's too slow right now. But that's why I go to New York for like 2 weeks and get enough money to then I can literally just sit here and twiddle my thumbs for like 3 weeks, basically, from what I made in New York. And then when I go back, but then as we start to see, and it's not that the money's gone, but you go, oh, there's not more coming in, and it's every day going away. We're smart enough to see that if I don't go back, you know, you start doing the math of all the bills that are coming up again, the ones we've paid, but the ones that will come up again, if not more money, you know, you start to go, oh shoot, I need to go back. So I made the decision, and I'm feeling really good about it, because I think if I was waiting till October, I'd get more stressed of like, oh man, our funds are getting lower and lower. And then we start to, you know, miss things like, you know, you miss a credit card payment or something, and all those things, they charge you little fees or something. So, and then it just tacks on, you know, like we have all these little credit cards that we have a list, but they, you know, as we run out of money, sometimes you just go, we can't pay that one yet, you know, and then you get like a, you know, $20 to $40 fee, and then just basically the minimum payment for most of them anyway. So it's just like this stupid thing you get in this bad cycle if you start to get behind. So we don't want that to happen again. And that happened before. I mean, that's Gloria was so behind. We're not even fully caught up. I mean, we're still paying. Why some of the expenses are still so high is we're paying the rears of certain things like that HOA, which I think we've made like 4 payments or something of that one that was like really expensive. We have our other one too. There's one due on the 5th and one due on the 15th. And the one on the 15th is extremely expensive right now because we're paying what was owed and the current. And they, you know, luckily worked with us on that. Otherwise they wanted like the full amount, which we didn't have at the time. So they set us up with a payment plan. But if I don't go to New York, like those things are like, get scary when, you know, some of these things come up, or like the car payment, or, you know, just, you know, the mortgage, all these things. And then all the other little bills,
so
you know.
A lot of people who have been listening to your story are just saying like mother's saying sorry for being mean.
Oh, thank you, mother.
You know, she's worried about your stuff, whatever. But anyways, but the point is that yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Was that Mother's SOS? I appreciate everybody. I know that I've been mean in the past, and I'm really trying to not be mean at all. Even if I drink, I don't want to have that be an excuse for being mean.
And, you know,
like, it's just not acceptable.
They're locked into what's going to happen in your future.
I know.
You want to know what's going to happen in the next 5 years.
Oh, you guys are.
And so that's why they give you a lot of suggestions, not out of hate, but but the thing is that Mother so says, look, I can see you be awesome in real estate. I can see you also be awesome at the doctor's office, but really, they're hearing your story and they're realizing you had some really bad experiences in real estate and the doctors that you're just minimizing, that don't happen anymore in 2025.
Yeah.
I mean, the things like where you had,
yeah,
you had
a lot
to
of
quit a job
sexual
because
harassment
you
stuff.
wouldn't have an affair with
Yeah,
your boss.
now you have like the Me Too's.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay, yeah, you know what I mean, like that one, and then so tell them about this story. I don't know if they know all that story yet.
Yeah. So yeah, now that things have changed a lot. Yeah, things are very different.
Everything's changed. They said you might like it better. You might like real estate.
I just don't want to go in the office on any level right now, but maybe in 5 years. It's not anything to do with the sexual harassment, because it's not anything worse than what I deal with now. So that's not an issue for me, but it probably is better. But I was young then. I could care less now. If someone wants to sexually harass me at this point, I don't care. I'm 40 years old. Are you serious? Get out of here.
I don't think it happens anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it happens anymore, but that isn't a concern for me. But I appreciate you guys. That is a good point. When I was young, that is like when you're young and, you know, very naive, and these guys try to take advantage. No one could take advantage of me now. Get out of here. But that's not what keeps me from. I just don't feel like it. Like I don't have a desire to go sit in an office all day. It's not something I want to do right now. But maybe in 5 years. But maybe in 10 years. I'm saying I'm stopping in New York in 5 years. I might not stop this job in 5 years. But definitely New York. I don't want to keep going to New York. But I may or may not stop this job then. It just depends. I don't care. It depends on like how I feel at the time. But New York, I just can't keep up the pace of going back and forth to New York for the rest of my life. But no, I have no desire to go sit in an office yet. But maybe when I'm 45 or 50.
What size shoe do you wear?
I wear a size 8. But I don't know. I spend a lot of time in offices because, when I wasn't flying in the Air Force, my job was to sit in an office all day and schedule. And in an office with like no windows and like no circulation and just like one of those.
Also, you know what? This is the thing that you forget that I've forgotten is that when you work from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m., someone wants to know exactly what you're doing.
Right, but here's the other thing.
Every minute of the day.
Yeah, here's the other thing is when I used to work in real estate in Portland. So I did the Air Force for 4 years, and then I did real estate for about 7 years total because I did 3 different real estate offices. Keller Williams, Realty Executives, and Condo Real Estate. They're all in Vancouver, Washington. I would go to work at like 7 a.m. and not leave till like 6 p.m. and I wouldn't even see the sun. Like, because in Oregon and Washington, like most of the year, you won't see the sun. So like I even had windows, you could get some sunlight coming through the windows in one of my offices. I actually had a nice office at Keller Williams. But, so I've had nice offices too. I've had crappy ones and the nice ones. But it just sucked to just like never be outside. You know what I mean? Like you would maybe go out for your lunch break, but maybe not even. Maybe someone else would go get lunch, because you only had a 30-minute lunch break. You didn't really go anywhere. And, I don't know. Once I got out of the office, and then I worked for the doctors where I was like the only one there always at the doctor's office. Like they left me there by myself 24/7. Somebody's sitting in this empty office always. But unless there was patients there. But I don't know. I just don't feel like sitting in an office again. Not yet. I like I said, I have tons of office experience. So I can go right back to that. I mean, I've been an executive assistant, I've been an office manager, I've been a bookkeeper, I've done all the kinds of the admin for real estate, and I've done been a receptionist. I've did all the stuff with the doctors with their medical billing and their medical charts and stuff because it's all it's those online medical charts or the computer ones. You fill in the stuff for the doctors. They don't do it themselves, if you guys know that. When you work for doctors, they're like, "Here, fill out my chart for me." And then, all that kind of stuff. So I have a lot of training. I know how to do the billing for a lot of medical stuff and stuff like that. And I know how to do billing for, like, real estate stuff and stuff. But I just don't feel like it. I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to. But I always know I can fall back on that. And then I also have, a restaurant experience too. So I was a cocktail waitress and I've been a barista and a server. So I worked at Gelato de Oro Cafe when I was 15, and then I worked at Buffalo Wild Wings when I was in the Air Force. And then I worked at, I literally can't remember the name of the coffee shop when I got out of the Air Force. That's how weird everything was for me. I worked at a coffee shop in Chico, which I cannot even remember the name. That's how crazy my brain was at the time with my mom had just died and stuff. I worked there for 3 months and I couldn't tell you the name. I think it was called Bella something. It was called Bella something. But I can't even remember. But I worked there, and then I went up to Washington. That was in Chico, California. And then I went up to Washington, and I worked in another little coffee shop. But this one was actually at the church, but they paid you at the church. I would go with Sean, my stepbrother, would want to go to church. So they paid you. They had like a full-on coffee shop at the church. So I worked there for a minute, and then I started working in real estate. And I don't think I ever worked any sort of, I didn't go back to a restaurant again. But I worked real estate and then the doctors. and then this job. So, yeah, Bella something. I can't remember. People think that you're going to remember everything. Like, you think, like, when you're young, like, oh, I could never forget these things. But you do. You do. My mom always would be like, oh, your day will come that you forget things. You know, because when you're young, you think you're going to remember everything. And you think, like, these events are so significant. And even if they are, that doesn't mean you're going to remember every detail about it. You know what I mean? Like, especially, like, if something else happens. Like, my mom died, so, like, I don't remember a lot of what happened my last, like, 6 months in the Air Force, or a lot that would happen when I first got to Chico, because I was kind of in shock still, you know, like my mom had just died. So I don't know, like I just, there's very small fragments of memories from those times. A lot of like my Air Force stuff is starting to come back to me in memories, and that's why I've told you guys a lot about them, but there was a lot of trauma that occurred because of also how they treated me. So it just sent me through. I was just a mess when I got out of just like anxiety. They made me. My eyes started twitching from what they did to me in the Air Force with the suicide watch. Was just like, it was the most insane suicide watch of like actually like making someone want to commit suicide with the way they did it. It was like a nightmare. I was like, kept asking them, like, are you trying to make me kill myself? Because this is the worst thing you could ever do to someone if they actually were feeling suicidal. Thank God I'm not. But at that point, you don't actually maybe even get suicidal at first because you're just like unaware. I mean, you're like in shock. It's like that comes years later, you know what I mean? But at first, like if like I'm saying like if someone were to die, it's like usually that's not really like the response.
Extreme is from Vegas. Grew up in Vegas, and Extreme's mom died of cancer in 2023.
Oh man, I'm so sorry to hear that. Was it Extreme? I can't see. Extreme. I'm so sorry to hear that. I know losing your mom is the hardest thing. I mean, I think losing a mom and losing a child. I think losing your dad is difficult, but your dad is not the same as your mom. You know what I mean? Because your mom gave birth to you, and moms are just a different connection than dads. I mean, dads are difficult too, but something about a mom and a child, just because they, like, the child came from the mother and then the mother, gave birth to the child. So I think that connection is one of the strongest connections out there. So like when a mother loses her child young, I feel like it's the same as when a child loses their mother young. And losing any family member is equally awful. It's not like, but I do feel like that connection is one of our strongest connections because, you came from inside your mother's stomach, her womb, and it just never goes away. Whereas your dad is as close as you are to your dad is your dad, like I was really close to my dad until my mom died, and then I was like, I realized like my dad hadn't even really done much as a parent, it'd always been my mom. And once my mom died, I was like, you don't even do anything. Like, why'd I ever like you? You're a terrible parent. Because I was like liked my dad almost better than my mom at times, and it hurt her feelings when she'd be like, I don't understand this, because she kind of did everything for me, and then I was like, nicer to my dad at times. But I think we do that, like, and sometimes we take our moms for granted, but moms, that connection is...
I would like you to be his mom.
Okay. I'll be your mom. Yeah, you'll be my adopted child. I only ever have adopted children, I'm sure. I doubt I'm having a child. Richard would like to have children, but I'm just like, oh dear. I'm 40. Yeah, shit, I think sailed a while ago.
And then I'll go have an affair or something.
I know people say, oh, there's 40-year-olds having children. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to be one of them. It's like, I know there's like, my sister was 37, but it's like, it still doesn't mean that's like, oh, I want to be like in the Guinness Book of World Records for the oldest mom. That's not what I'm going for. Like, I wanted to be a young mom if I was going to have children, and that didn't work out. So I'm okay with that. Like, as much as I do like kids, I'm not one of those that dislikes children, and I thought I wanted to have children. But now that I'm 40, I'm like, oh, I don't think I want to go down that road. No, I think like it's just too far at this point. Like, all my friends had kids in like their 20s. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't want to be the one with like the last one that I look like the grandma, like, people do that. It's, it happens. I'm not faulting them for that, but it's just not really the path I wanted to take. But who knows? Maybe I'll be that 45-year-old having a kid. But anyways, probably not. I'm pretty content with my bunny and my husband and Gloria and Annette. That's really, I can't even imagine us trying to somehow even fit a child into our life, because I'd have to do a different job, but then also like we'd have to get a different house. I mean, there's just like so many factors of like with a child. You can't have a kid in this house, bed bugs and stuff, which are pretty minimized. But we do need to do that Damascus Earth soon. It is. When was the last time you did it? Definitely in Annette's room. I noticed she was. I need to do all the blankets before I leave. Take them all off and clean them all, and then the blankets and sheets, and then put the other ones on, and then switch them back before I leave. Because Annette likes her yellow one best. She has 2 blankets, but she likes the yellow one best. So I gotta do that probably tomorrow. Tomorrow might be a good day for it. Oh, tomorrow's Friday. I could work. Hopefully the ladies go dancing tomorrow. You took Gloria to the gym?
I did.
She loves her new shoes. I don't know if you guys saw her Puma shoes she got. Oh, she loves them.
And then you gave her that new shirt and everything. She is happy.
She loves them. It's the funniest thing because, I mean, it's like we just picked them, you know, because we just thought they looked nice. But we had no idea she was going to like them that much, you know. They're not the most expensive, but not the cheapest either, you know, somewhere in the middle. And we thought, oh, these are nice, these Pumas. Glory she could be getting compliments on them and everything. Annette had a pair too, but she didn't like them, so we had to return Annette's. Annette, it never works. We're going to have to take her in person. We cannot keep ordering the shoes online. She returned both the shoes we got her. She never wants the shoes we get her. That's why she gets stuck with the same shoes over and over. Like, we had to get literally the same sneaker as she had before, because anytime we try to get her a new thing or something other than Birkenstocks, don't like it. She even picks it out, but then she don't like it. She even wears it for like a day, and then she comes back, she's like, nah, I don't like this, I'm gonna return it. Like, oh, man. Every time. We've bought Annette shoes so many times. As you guys don't realize, we bought her shoes a lot of times. She returns them always, unless it's the Birkenstocks, the certain ones she likes, or those one sneakers I got her, and that's the only thing that's lasted. Everything else she wants to return. So I think her feet are just kind of awkward, so most sneakers don't fit right. Where I had to get her size 10, which I think, as much as she's swimming in it a little bit, I think gives her toes a little more wiggle room. I don't think she likes when the toe is pushing towards the front.
Are you in Las Vegas?
Yes, I'm in Las Vegas. But you know what's funny is when we first moved to New York in 2021, we put on our Twitter that our city that we lived was Manhattan and Vegas. Like, we just kind of felt like those were our 2 cities.
Those are our places.
And now I'm realizing it really is for me right now. Like, I'm literally going like 2 weeks in Manhattan, 3 weeks in Vegas. 2 weeks in Manhattan, 3 weeks in, I mean, like, I'm almost living in, but I won't always go that often, but I am like almost like living like dual cities right now, where I live in New York and Manhattan. The only bummer is when I first said I thought it'd be like me and Richard doing that together, not me all by myself. That is where it is hard living here, but you know, it is good at the time. It's good that we're here with Gloria and Annette, but like Richard would be with me, and that's.
Let me just talk real quick. Joy.
Do you have a microphone?
No, I don't. I'll come over here.
Well, they can't hear you all the way over there.
I was gonna say, because there's a person here who's been actually very active in our chat, Goo Barrymore, and she came here because she found me when I jumped on a stream of this woman named Eliza.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Right. And Eliza, now I didn't know anything about her. I just knew I got her because like a horror maxer knew her, and then somehow I got in there, and then I was in there, and I was talking to her, and she said call in, so I called in, and then she got all mad and hung up on me.
Oh no.
Right. But apparently, like she's famous because, like, I guess she dated Andy Dick. Remember that guy?
Oh wow.
Right.
Andy Dick.
Right. Why did I can't remember why.
Yeah, why'd you come over?
Goo Barrymore just found out that Annette has a college degree.
Oh yeah, I know. Annette is extremely intelligent. That's why when we were doing the channel and people kept like asking her favorite color and stuff, she was starting to get annoyed because she's very intelligent. You have to talk to her like normal. You don't talk to her like she's stupider than someone else. Like that, she doesn't like at all. And that actually, I had to kind of show Gloria and Richard because they a little bit treated her like she was different. So don't treat her different, just treat her exactly the same. She'll answer you, or she'll, do what she wants. Like, you can ask her and she'll answer you things, you know what I mean? She'll tell you that, sometimes she'll answer a weird thing, but like, she'll tell you, I found out, like, Annette didn't eat the M&Ms the other day. Richard, did I tell you guys? Richard had hit him and forgot where he hit him and then blamed everyone else for eating him. I was like, thank God I found him, because I was like, I told you I didn't eat these M&Ms. But we asked Annette and she said no, and I was like, she's normally not wrong with something like that. But I was like, where are they then? You know what I mean? Because I knew I hadn't eaten them and Richard hadn't, since he was, you know, up in a frenzy about it. And we didn't think Gloria had. But I thought, it has to be her. But I thought she normally, you know, because if we say, no, did you eat them? No, she said no. And she didn't. And but I was like, that's so weird. But Richard had hit him, and then he forgot. And I was, he hit him just like above the other, they were like, you know, where the plates are, but up higher. And so I was pulling this bowl down, and I was like, here's the thing, M&M, that turd. So I brought him in here. I was like, Richard, look. Oh, okay. I was like, I told you I didn't eat the M&Ms. I would tell you guys if I do. I told you guys the other day whatever day that was, I think it was like 5 days ago, was the day I went shopping. I caved in that day. I started with eating some avocado, and then I ate like a cookie, and no good. So, it's funny what you're going. Another day, I said, oh, I ate something bad, and he's all, well, as long as you didn't eat like a cookie. Here's what I ate. He was like, it was just funny. Like, that's exactly what he said. He was like, anything but a cookie. I mean, that's like the worst thing you could probably choose to eat out there. Yeah, that's what I ate, a cookie. I'm not a big sweet person, but I do like cookies. I do have a weakness for cookies. I used to make, oh gosh, I'm the best cookie maker too, which I can't do anymore. It's not good for anybody. If it was good for anyone in the house, I would make them and just not eat them. But it's not really good for anybody. I mean, we buy them once in a while, but I used to make the best homemade cookies. Oh, I'm really good at making cookies. So, that'd be fun. It's just, we're not supposed to eat that kind of stuff. I used to make the best. I liked making chocolate chip oatmeal cookies. Not oatmeal raisin, because I don't like raisin. Chocolate chip oatmeal. That was my favorite cookie. That's a good cookie. But I would make, oh gosh, when me and Richard ate bad, I'd make them like a couple different kinds of cookies, like a thing of like peanut butter, a thing of like sugar, a thing of the chocolate oatmeal. Yeah, I used to bake a lot. I never did the cooking early on. I did all the baking, so I would bake all the time for us. Like I'd make us like pies and cookies and things. But then Richard would do the cooking like on the stove. But back then we were like doing a lot of like vegan stuff, you know, we were not even eating meat. So I remember Richard make these like vegan sausages. They gave me the worst gas ever, you guys. Something's wrong with that vegan artificial stuff. Oh my gosh, the worst. I mean, it took me a second to realize what it was. I was like, oh my gosh, what is this foul odor coming out of me? And it took me a second to realize what was causing it, because it kept happening every day, and it was these little vegan sausages, those like fake meat things. No, thank you. It's pretty funny. This is like 2016 or something, a long time ago. But anyways, me and Richard were together a long time, 13 years. That's as long as my parents were married. So I feel kind of cool that they were married that long, but they weren't together for that long before. So, you know, their total time was probably like 13 and a half years. Whereas I'm at 13 now and 11 married, so I'm gonna get there. I always thought it was insane that they got divorced after 13 years, because now when I've been with Richard, I'm like, how can you? I just don't. I mean, it's like I don't know how you do a whole nother life with another person. It's weird. It's just weird for me. I don't know. We're never getting divorced. It's not something we would do. People think we would, especially with everything we've been through. What could make us get divorced at this point? I mean, it's like, we've been through a lot of crazy stuff, and we're not getting divorced. So, I know Richard sometimes gets nervous when I go to New York. Like, I really think that there's times where he thinks I'm not going to come back. I think that's why he makes sure he gets my return ticket. I think if I don't have a return ticket, he thinks I'm going to, like, stay, which I'm not. I don't want to stay in New York, and I don't want to be away from my family, but even if I'm having the best time, let's say I'm having the best time ever in New York, it's still like I'm not the person that wants to do that every day. Like I'm just not this like, oh, I want to like go out every night and be in a hotel by myself and just like live the single life and and just, you know, drink every night. It's just not really what I want. I make the most of it when I'm there because I'm there. but that's not the ideal life for me. So like the idea of like leaving my family would be like absolutely absurd, because I would just become an alcoholic and just like probably end up dying because I would stop caring for myself. So part of what keeps me going is like I have a family that like makes sure I take care of myself, because without a family I kind of stop caring about myself. Like I'll just become an alcoholic and just like, kind of like let myself go. And probably get back into bad food addictions and stuff, because I don't know, like I need like a purpose in the love of a family, and like I don't know. That's why when I'm in New York, like I still have their love, and you know, and I get to talk to them all the time. But still, it's hard even just being far away from my family. That's why I really struggle. So I know like without my family, I would just be an addict, you know, like alcohol primarily, and that's. Because I'm not into drugs. Like people think no, it's just alcohol and food for me. Those are my vices. Like if I was completely single, those would be the two things. I wouldn't be doing drugs. I would be doing alcohol and an eating disorder. That would be, and that's what I was doing when me and Rich first got together. And I was very upset at first to kind of like get rid of those things. And you see, they still have quite a stronghold at times on me, but I'm so thankful that I have had the opportunity to get rid of them at times. Because even if it's not always, at least it's not always. Does that make sense? Like every day dealing with alcohol or a food addiction every single day, like it is miserable. It's a miserable way to live. So even if like I battle with it for the time I go to New York, like I said, this time is going to be not forever. If it was forever, then that would be too much time, because then I'd be like half the time in New York almost, you know. But it's not going to be this way forever of like me going so often. So it's really like what Rich?
What's funny is that Drew Barrymore just said that you've inspired her to eat more beef. She used to eat mostly ground turkey. But then what did you have last night?
I know, I told him I had turkey last night. You know, ground turkey is often way too lean, except for if you're doing the dark meat. The dark meat is what we had last night. But you do need, so a lot of people want to do like chicken and like turkey and like lean meats, because they fear like the fat of beef. What you need to do is do a leaner beef, like do a 93.7 and at most 85. Don't do 80. Don't do 80 or 70. That's way too much fat in your beef. But if you do a leaner beef, like a 93 or an 85, or a 90, whatever one is available for you. Okay, yeah, you jump in the shower. Then, and keep your carbs low, then the fat is not a concern. So, but the fat will make you much more satisfied. So people have this tendency to be like, oh, I need to do like, you know, chicken breasts that are super lean and, you know, no fat to it. No, fat is not your problem. Too much fat, yeah. Like you don't want too much fat. Like I said, don't do the 80, don't do the 70. But 93, 90, 85, those are all fine. 80, 20, and the 70, 30 are way too much fat in your meat, because then you're just too much fat in there. Like you want your portion to be protein, not fat. But don't fear the fat in beef. I know when I was young, it was like, oh my gosh, beef is like the worst thing. Like I remember it being like, oh my God, you can have a steak, but it's not going to be good for your arteries or whatever. That's BS. That's not true. That's not true. That all that stuff that, you know, the red meat being bad for, none of that's true, unless, like I said, you're doing way too high of fat. Like that's where, like if your red meat is like super high fatty red meat, then you can start to, because it's the fat, it's not the meat. See, they're misunderstanding that it's the fat content that you got to be a little bit conscious of, but not like to where you need to be conscious where like you got to do lean chicken or lean turkey. It's, you can have a certain amount of fat. But like I said, there's just a percentage, you know, so just be aware of your percentages of your beef, and then you'll feel much better. And sometimes some people don't even like the 93.7, it's too lean for them. And so like Richard prefers sometimes the 85, and that's fine, but I would not go 80-20 or 70-30, that's like pretty high fat. But also, you got to avoid doing too many of things like as much as you want to do like ribs, you can do them once in a while, but like if you're doing a lot of beef ribs, that's like a lot of fat, you know, things like that. Like even though those are nice sometimes, you can't have your whole diet be, because like we were doing ribs for a while, but the problem with ribs is the big portion of ribs is fat, is not meat. And that's like the good, you know, juicy part, but that's just fat. You're not actually getting protein there, that's just fat. So just be aware to differentiate the difference between the fat and the protein. So maybe, you know, don't do your fattiest beefs, but you don't have to like avoid beef, thinking that beef in general is too fatty. Because the protein in beef is fine. It's just watch your fat content, and watch, like, if you're eating a steak, maybe don't eat all of the fat on the steak, you know, which I know is the best juicy part, but that's because it's not protein. It's fat. You know. But you can have some, though. That's the other thing that's the thing. Like, some people get this thing that you need to be fat-free. Oh, no, that's terrible. Don't be fat-free. Fat-free is that we got this idea that we go fat-free and then we increase the sugar. Not me particularly. I'm saying, like, in the 80s as a society, we took out all the fat and everyone wanted to be fat-free. I remember when I was a kid, my mom told me fat-free everything, you know. Fat-free yogurt, which just meant it had, like, 20 grams of sugar. And they took out all the fat and added sugar. Because when you take out the fat, it takes out the flavor. That's why like fat-free milk is gross, you know, because the fat is a lot of the flavor. That's why the fat is tasty, you know, on the meat. But people have this conception that fat is bad. Fat doesn't make you fat. Fat doesn't make you fat. Enough fat can, but people have this idea that fat is fat. No, that's not. You actually need about 60% protein, about 20% fat, and about 20% carbs, is what they usually say for like a general kind of rule of thumb. So you need to have fat. The whole concept of fat-free is not actually smart for your body. For one thing, fat is very good for your skin. It's very good for your hair. It's very good for actually keeping you insulated, and it is good for even like putting on good fats. Like fat can put on good fat actually. Like I know like when we did want to put on weight before, we would eat things like ribs to kind of put on some good fat, because I find that the fat is better than like sugary fat. Okay, like I know you're like, what's the difference? Well, like if you're eating all sugar, like if you're not like, let's say you're eating just protein and then you're eating some of the fat and you're getting a little bit chunky because you're eating a really fatty fat meat. But it's different than when you're eating all sugar. All sugar, you're just going to look bad. You're just going to like have a terrible body. Whereas you see the people that maybe are doing really high protein with high fat and they're still looking pretty good. They're just a little bit maybe heavier than they want to be. That's fine. Like that's what I'm saying. Like veer on the side of higher fat than less fat when you're doing a protein diet. Because if you don't eat enough fat, you're going to be extremely hungry. And especially when you first start, the fat is what will keep you from feeling extremely hungry. So if you do completely lean meat like turkey or chicken, you're going to be just hungry all day. Like, you're just going to be hungry because the fat is what kind of keeps you satisfied. But like I said, there is a level. So that's where, maybe when they're talking about, people getting the clogged arteries or whatever, maybe if it's too much fat. But like I said, that's fat. That's not the protein. They're kind of not separating those when they actually are separate. Like if you were to eat just, the meat on a steak, it's very different than if you ate all the fat on the steak. Does that make sense? But they'll just say steak in general. And the other problem is, we like to do organic. We don't do organic steak because it's too expensive. But we do the organic beef. We used to do organic steaks when they had them on sale. They used to put them on sale. Not anymore. Nothing's on sale anymore. Those days have changed. And they used to mark them down too, like when they were getting old. But I haven't seen that in forever. We don't even bother anymore. I don't think we look for the organics anymore. We just go for the conventional steak. But the problem with the conventional steak is they are trying to make those cows as fat as possible. So the problem is you are getting fattier meat with the conventional steaks. And like I said, it's not too bad, but like there is a level that you don't want. So like some people want like these Wagyu and stuff. That's just really fatty. So watch when you're thinking, oh, this is like what everyone is saying is the best meat. A lot of times the best meat is a really fatty meat. So just be aware that just because it says at the store this is the best or it's more expensive, to kind of figure out what you want. Because like I know like the Wagyu meat is just as expensive as the organics. I go with the organics, the grass-fed, because that's going to be lower fat content. They're not going to have all that intercellular muscular fat, I think they call it, or something like that. That is, they get that by eating all the grains and stuff, and that's where like the marbling on I could be wrong with the name of it, but the marbling on the steaks is the fat, the white. That's what they want. They go, oh, it's a good steak by the amount of marbling. That's just the amount of fat. So I tend to not want a steak that's like slathered in fat. Find one that's got more, the pink or the purple, Pink is best. Purple is it's turning, if you don't know how to check meat. The pink is what you're looking for, like dark, not like pink, like dark red. Dark red is your ideal. And pink and purple are kind of in its turning a little bit. Like when your meat starts to turn purple, ooh, you better get that cooked really quick. But dark red is the ideal color, and the white is fat. So if you're looking for a good steak, try to avoid the ones that are just like tons of, they call it the marbling, the fat in there. Just get a little leaner one. And usually the more expensive steaks have the higher fat, like a ribeye, you know, which are fabulous, but they're pretty high in fat. But that's why we like the organics, is because then they feed them grass. I like the grass-fed organics because then the cows are leaner. So then you're eating a leaner meat. And they're also, you know, it's no cruelty to the animals. And so it's just like, it's an overall better thing. But nowadays, like, the organics are not significantly much more than the regular food. It used to be quite a jump, so people would be like, oh my gosh, I'll never pay organic prices. But now if you look, I think like the Wagyu is just as expensive as the organic. And sometimes even they have like a grass-fed that's as expensive as the organic, but it's not organic. That could be fine too. I just tend to go with usually the organic grass-fed. But some stores do just a grass-fed, and they charge just as much. So the grass-fed is kind of the big key too, because they're eating the grass versus the grains. The grains make the cows fat, and they do that on purpose, and they don't let them eat grass because it leans them down. They stick them in a shed and make them eat grains, and that's kind of where the cruelty lies, because cows just want to eat grass all day. And so that's why, as much as I can afford organics, I like to get them. And you guys are always like, well, why don't you get Gloria and Annette? Well, because they don't eat only organics. Like, I only eat the organics, and so that's like my only thing I eat. So like for me, it's really important. If you're not eating an all organic diet, it's not as important, if that makes sense. That's why, like, as much as we'd love for them to eat all organics, like if they were only eating our diet.
Thanks for the chit chat.
Oh, bye Mitch. Thanks Mitch. Good to have you here. Hope to see you next time or later. If you're only eating the organics, then, and like it's way more important to me, like, because that's all I'm eating, like, and so I want my organic burgers. Now once in a while, like, I had a little conventional turkey and a little bit of conventional steak, but that's all I'm eating. So when they're eating all kinds of things, like eating a muffin and a donut and coffee and, you know, and ice cream, then it doesn't really make sense to have them do the organics, because it doesn't really it doesn't really line up with the rest of the diet. Does that make sense? So like, if you're not doing a diet of organics, don't waste your money on the organics. Does that make sense? But if you are already on that road of organics, then pay the little extra, or maybe even the same price. But if you're eating other junk food, like, it doesn't really make sense. Does that make sense?
Hope you're having a great day.
Oh, thank you. Who is it?
Nature Nest.
Thank you, Nature Nest. Thank you, everybody, for coming and joining today. I did my push-ups earlier, so I'm not.
They're going to start being nicer to you. I don't know why. It's kind of like the conversation was, yeah, I'm just going to stop being mean. I'm not being.
Well, because I think I'm not being mean anymore, so it's kind of harder for people to be mean if I'm being nicer. Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys. I really want to be nicer, and I really want a positive channel. I want it to be interesting. I don't want it to just be me always just talking about myself. But when I'm getting ready for New York, it's hard for me to focus on a lot of other things, because it's like, it's 2 weeks away, and I didn't expect it to be this soon. So it's kind of like Rich was like, what are you talking about today? I was like, well, I don't know what else I would talk about but New York, you know, because it's like, it's just kind of like taking over my thought process right now. Because I'm like, do I have everything I need? I'm like packing in my head, you know. And there's a couple more things coming in the mail. Richard got me I'm excited to try out my new shoes. I hope they fit. Like, if we have to make sure the things fit, otherwise we got to return them, and I don't even have time to get new things. It just depends, you know. So this is kind of the crunch time to make sure I have everything. Like, I was going to put an extra toothbrush in my bag. I just remember that, because I have a toothbrush, but toothbrush. I have an extra toothbrush, extra toothpaste in case they take one of my toothpastes. Because I have one that's like, I think it's 4 ounces, it should be fine. It's a Tom's one. But last time they took my hair reconstructor. And I don't want to end up in New York and not have something like toothpaste when you first arrive. It's the worst. You've been flying all day and you don't have toothpaste, and you got to go to the store just to get toothpaste. And then you have to pay a fortune because you have to get it out of Bodega, and it's way more expensive. It's like the price of Albertsons for their toiletries. So Albertsons wanted to charge $11.99 for some shampoo and conditioner as a toiletry, like the little dinky travel ones. I mean, not toiletry, travel one. they're out of their mind. So Richard ordered himself, I said, Richard, you need to get yourself some shave cream. And he didn't show me what he ordered, but it arrived, and he ordered himself a travel size. I wonder why it was only $1.99. I was like, you think you get shave cream for $1.99? I wonder why. No ball. So here's a little travel size shave cream. It's supposed to be for him for the house, not for... But I was like, dude, I could get a thing of shave cream for $1.99. I just wonder why it was so cheap. But I was like, that's the price you're supposed to pay for a travel thing, not $11.99 like Albertsons. It was insane. I can't even imagine someone paying that. Like, I can't imagine them selling those unless someone doesn't look. Like, unless someone, like, grabs it and doesn't look, you know? But I can't imagine looking at that and being like, oh, yeah, $11.99, that's an appropriate price for a travel-size shampoo. Like, this big. 2 uses. Maybe 1. I mean, I'm just like, what does the world come to? Because I think at Walmart, they're still, like, $1.99. So not like they're all that expensive yet. But I was just like, they're insane. I would never. I mean, that's what we pay for. That's more than we pay for our big one. You know, like we have a big with a pump, you know. And that's more than we pay for that. How they lost their mind. I mean, I just can't imagine that being something that sells. Unless someone doesn't look, you know, if they're in the store and they're shopping and they don't look at the price. But I can't imagine being like, oh, $11.99 for 2 uses. That's a great price. At a grocery store, like it'd be one thing if you were like at the airport or like at your hotel, you know, where they charge you astronomical prices for things. But like at like a grocery store in Vegas and not near the Strip, like out in Summerlin at Albertsons, why in God's earth would I spend $11.99 on a travel size shampoo? Like I mean, there's other stores charge $1.99. I mean, like, has someone never been to another store? Like I just can't imagine this product selling. Call me crazy. But are you about ready to take off?
Maybe a little less.
Yeah, are you gonna oh wait, we have to get lunch, I think.
No. I have steak and I have chicken, and that doesn't wind down. I'm making my burgers. And you want burger?
Yeah, I'm gonna need burgers. That's what I'm saying.
I'll make you a burger then.
No, but that's for you. So we need to go to the store.
I'll make myself a steak right now. So don't make that because I'm hungry now. So we'll do that and then we'll.
I could run to the store. I'll be.
No. I'll go shopping in a minute. Just let me do this.
All right. Are you gonna bring them in there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're just gonna do a cooking stream. Problem is.
Joy likes to make sure everything's under control here.
The problem is, like, I'm the one eating all the organics.
She can have them. I don't care.
I had my pound this morning, and he hasn't had. So you haven't had breakfast?
Joy, don't worry about. I eat when I'm hungry. You don't have to worry. I know. I'm 57 years old. I know when I'm hungry.
All right. Well, I feel bad taking because he hasn't gone shopping yet, so he's gonna give me the second pound.
Don't make such a big deal about it.
But he's gonna eat steak, so because that's very sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that. But he's been eating this soup. Are you done with that soup? I think it's done.
Yeah, pour a little bowl out for me, and then yeah.
Okay, it's like done. I'll leave it because if I pour it, it's gonna get cold. So you eat it when you want to eat it. But it pretty soon needs to be unplugged. So we have some bone broth stew, which I can only have a little bit, and then it's just like too much on my tummy. But Richard just downs the whole thing. He literally finishes the whole crock pot of soup. He loves it. I used to like it more, but I mean I like it, but it really starts to upset my belly a little bit. And I get bloated now because I think it's doing like its work. It's like, you know, working on your digestion, but I can't always deal with that right now because I need to like, you know, be available to work, not be all like bloated. So I haven't been. I've been trying to not do as much soup and not as much oil, and then I haven't been getting bloated as much. Because remember when I was dealing with my bloating before I left for New York? Do you guys remember that when I was like bloating like crazy? Well, that hasn't fully gone away, but I've been trying to minimize it by doing certain things. Like I realized the oil was contributing, and definitely no more seltzer waters, which I hadn't really been doing, but every once in a while, you know, have one here or there, and I'm like, that doesn't contribute. That doesn't help with that contributes to my bloating. So I'm doing just spring water. And which is primarily what I do, but every once in a while, like, you know, have a little seltzer water, but I'm like, don't need to do that because that wasn't helping with the bloating. And then the oil, the cooking oil, like I've been doing no cooking oil because that actually really helps with my bloating, and then not drinking a ton of the bone broth stew. Even though it feels good in the sense of like it's working on your stomach, like it's doing something, but I don't always need all that work going when I'm trying to work and trying to not sleep all day. So what'll happen when I do this too is I get really tired and just like sleep and then have to like sleep it off, you know?
Yeah.
Which is okay sometimes, but when I'm trying to, you know, like I'm trying to be available to work a little bit here and stuff like that. So if I just was trying to do nothing, then yeah, I would down the soup. That's what I did that one when I think it was before I left for New York. There was a couple of days that I said, fine, I'm just not going to work. So I kind of like let the soup really kind of do its, it really does. You feel like it's like cleaning out your, like, and I don't mean like you poo or anything like that. I mean, you might, but it's more just like you just feel like, oh, this is healing me on some level. Like it's, you know, because it is really like a nourishing thing, bone broth, if you've never had it. And especially if you actually have like the bone marrow. Oh my God, bone marrow. It's actually a very sweet thing. It comes out of the bone, and it's like you usually have to use like a spoon to get it out, and it's kind of almost looks like a pudding, like a tapioca pudding. Very good. But you just feel like, oh, this is healthy when you eat that. All right, so I think we're gonna switch over to Richard. He's gonna take over. He's gonna cook, and I had a great time with you guys this morning. So I did do my push-ups before I started because it was so hot outside. But I did do my nunchucks.
Are you wearing a diaper?
I have diapery kind of underwear on, if that's what you're asking for. Yes, I wear my granny panties, if that's what everybody... Oh, there's my scar. Oh, look at that. Hey, my scar's getting better, though, because it's not fully a scar. It's actually... Can they see this? Is this gross? But it's not really a scar. It's that there's literally something under my skin, because I hit the... But like I got my granny panties. I hit my... What do you call that? What is the road stuff called? The what? No, but what is the road stuff called? The black stuff on the road.
Oh, blacktop.
The blacktop?
Asphalt.
Asphalt. I think it's asphalt under the skin, the black part. So I think, because I was rubbing it the other day, and it will eventually come out, and then this other part, the lady says, will become less. So it's not going to be this, like, that was, if you guys don't know. Gosh, what trip was that? Oh, when I came back from March. I got back from March. My March trip was a disaster. The trip was fine, but when I got back, it was an absolute disaster, and that's when I jumped out of the car. Which, things like that I'll never do again. I just know. I don't know. I'm maturing. Even if I drink, I'm maturing, and I know you're not fully mature when you drink, but I'm like the 40-year-old drinking, not the 20-year-old drinking anymore. You know what I mean? But last trip, the last day, I acted like a 20-year-old, you know, singing karaoke and almost missing my flight. So I don't want to be like that. But I'm hoping I don't drink much this trip at all. So fingers crossed. That would be great. And maybe not at all would be the best case. But probably not going to happen. You guys are like, yeah, right, I know. You're probably going to have another drunken joy stupidity. But hopefully I keep it in check. So... But I can't worry about that right now. I can only worry about staying sober right now. Like when I think like 14 days ahead, I just get all up in my head. So I'm sober now, 9 days, and I know I will be for the next 14 days. But if I start to get too worked up about New York, then I can work myself up and, you know, get myself in a frenzy here. And it's like I'll deal with New York when I'm in New York. You know what I mean? And I'm being smart about it in the sense of like I know I need to be strong. I know I need to have my guard up. I know I need to, you know, think things through. But I can't make my decision here for New York. You know, I mean, I could say I'm not going to do it at all and just like completely 100%. But I'm not sure if that's the right option right now, because part of like going right now, like I think I'm a little bit dealing with my issues. And I feel like if I am fully sober, I don't know if I will, but maybe I will. I don't know. It's just kind of like one of those things. Like I feel like it's a little bit of like this time that I'm kind of like working through my stuff where I can't really do that at home. I can't be like, you know, risking drinking and, you know, having something bad happen here where like, you know, because I'm home and you can't, like, even like Casper doesn't like when I'm drunk. He really doesn't like it. You know, we're there, it's like, you know, I'm by myself, so it's like, you know, work through your shit basically, kind of, you know. So it is kind of like my moment to kind of do that. But like I said, I don't want to do it forever, and I definitely want to do the drinking forever. So I'm thinking, like, if I do drink this trip, I'm hoping it's the last trip I drink, because I really am like, I don't think it just really wants to be something that I want to do every couple of months, you know, like, or every couple of weeks. It's not really my thing, but for whatever reason right now, I feel like I'm walking through through this tunnel or something, and I see the light at the end of the tunnel of like where I won't even really want it anymore. And you go, oh, that's not possible. Actually, I've been there before. I just went in this new phase where for a second I'm like, I'm liking this drinking thing. But each time I kind of like do it, I'm kind of like, I like this less and less. You know what I mean?
Well, definitely not normal.
Yeah. But I'm also not making a like complete rule, because I've done that before where I go, just no drinking and no drinking joint, just stick with that, and then you're super rigid. But I don't know if that's what I need when I get there. Maybe I do. I know sometimes I'm going to see when I get there how I feel. If it feels like, Joy, you need to be rigid, then I will be. But if it's like, Joy, you know what? Maybe let this be your last, trip that you do this, then maybe I do that. So it just really going to depend on when I get there. So when I try to work it out too much in my mind before I go, it usually doesn't even go the way I thought it was going to go anyways. You know what I mean? Like, I'm never going to drink in New York, and then I drink like the first day, and you guys go, oh, there goes that Joy. So now I go, I'm not going to know what I'm going to do till I get there, because when I start to plan that kind of stuff, like I can plan, how to get to my hotel, but planning every step of my sobriety is well, it's not really smart to do that. You're supposed to, like they say, one day at a time. You're supposed to do one day at a time. You're not supposed to plan 14 days ahead. You know what I mean? That'll cause you.
Nelson says, just go ahead and drink. Don't worry about it.
I know. But the problem is, I don't like what it does to my body, to my face. I mean, it really ages me right away. Like, I can literally see in my photos the difference between when I drink and when I don't drink. It's like instant. Like, it'll be like, here's my photos before I drank, and then that's right after I had a drink or two. And I can just see it. And it drives me nuts, because when I look at my photos, I go like, why'd I do that? Because like I could have had better photos, and I end up not taking photos, and then so things like that. But then I go like, F it, I'm in New York. So it's like, it is a conflict for me, because I really am like in the middle of how I feel of like whether I want to do it or not, because there's that total of like, I want to be healthy, I want to look good, I want to take good photos, I want to like really like my experience in New York, of like, not do anything dumb, because I won't when I'm sober. But then there's the like, but I'm in New York and I feel like drinking and acting a fool a little bit. So it's like, it's kind of this conflict where, that's why I say I'm maybe having a little bit of my midlife crisis, where I'm like, I'm 40, I'm not going to be doing this, the job, the going to New York or the drinking when I'm much older. Does that make sense? I'm not going to be some 60-year-old drunk. It's just not, nah. It's just not going to be my thing. I just can foresee the end pretty close, because I've just never been, even though I'm an alcoholic, I'm like an alcoholic for like a month at a time, and then I'm like sober for a long time. Like, I've never been like this.
I think people are saying you're more of a binge drinker.
Life,
You're more of a binge drinker.
Yeah, more of a binge drinker. That's the problem a little bit, though, because that's not a good thing, but I've gotten better with that. But yeah, it's not really this thing of like, I just want to sip wine every day. Yeah, it's more like, if I'm going to drink, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I do feel good about 9 days. And I feel like good about these 9 days, because this was like 100% my choice, these 9 days. Like, it could be more like 7 or even 6, because Richard would have been totally cool with me drinking for a couple days when I got back, because he understands that sometimes I need that. But I decided not to. I decided when I got home, so I haven't drank in Vegas, so it actually has made it just so much better. Like, I can't even describe, like, it's almost like less daunting now, the drinking, because it's like, well, if I can come home and snap right back, but it's not that I want to do it forever, but I'm saying, like, before it was like, oh dear, how long is it going to take me to recover when I get home? Oh man. But I really snapped back pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like, day 3, I was back to work, and I was feeling pretty good. The first 2 days were rough. Day 3 was a little rough, but day 4 I was fabulous,
Can you guys hear me better?
But whenever you're ready to take over, I'm just yammering.
Okay, let me just do, I'll take over right now. Let me switch it up.
So we have, you were saying it's Purple Haze.
I sure will.
But so Richard was talking earlier about.
Do we have the shoe parade in here?
So when I worked in an office, there was guys.
What's going on with the shoe parade? I don't get to figure that one out.
To have affairs with them, and since I didn't, they were super rude.
Okay, everybody.
And that was like the Me Too kind of thing that they used to do. But that's not really my fear of going back to an office, because the sexual part doesn't really worry me. I mean, I'm pretty more.
Hey, everybody.
That actually wasn't the worst thing in the office. I
Okay.
I wasn't gonna quit until that happened. Then it was just like that kind of thing. It wasn't
I think I want to upgrade. I want to get rid of this Prism Live.
like I hated the guy. That's why it was crazy. I hated the guy. He was like my least favorite person in the entire office. He was my boss, but he hated me.
Okay, Joy, you're off the camera now.
Oh,
Take my phone and plug it in. Or hand it to me. I'll plug it in over here.
do you need this mic? You got one.
I got my own. I got the whole. Hey, Nelson. I actually had it
You
pre.
should probably take this tripod.
No, I got this one.
But when you go in the office, I mean when you go in the.
No, I want this one.
Wait, are you shopping or are you cooking?
Yeah, I'm gonna go shopping now. I just told you that. I just said I was gonna go shopping because you said you're hungry, so I probably might as well go. I'll go shopping right now, taking them with me. So I put them on the I put them on the mobile.
Oh, they're gonna come.
Yeah, they're coming with me.
Oh, isn't that going with you? Or is she sleeping?
She might. I don't know. Ask her. She's not here. I think she's walking. I think she's walking. Look what I got for free. I was what they call a hit. Can you flip that light from me over there? I won a raffle. I won a raffle yesterday.
It really means you're everyone's favorite.
Which means I'm everyone's favorite, Joy says. But anyways, what it is, I filled out these raffle tickets, and what I won was eight of these. Can you believe that? 8 of these fish eggs. That's what it looks like, isn't it? Fish eggs.
You haven't even got them all yet. You have to go back and get more.
I think when she says drinking isn't her thing, I think she means drinking isn't like her lifestyle. Like when Joy and I are just like on our own devices, just doing our own thing, it's like the thought isn't like to go out and be like, hey, let's go get some drinks, let's go get some wine, let's go to a bar, let's go. That's not really our thing. I mean, we could have zero responsibilities, nothing to do, living in a cave, and we don't occur like, hey, let's get some alcohol. That just doesn't occur. That's just not our thing. I think is what she's saying.
But before I knew you, that was my thing. So when I don't have you, like sometimes I go revert back to like.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't think they could for me.
All right. So I might bring them. I might end it. I don't know. Do you want me to make your burgers first? Want some of this first? Yeah. Okie dokie. This is fresh out the fridge.
Oh.
Yeah, fresh out the fridge.
Oh shoot! I knew that was gonna happen.
Okay.
Well, I can't.
Here.
Oh shoot.
Your hand to me.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah,
That really.
that's a good one.
That's a really good Christmas one. What's that one called?
This one I believe is called the Yellow Snow,
Oh, that's nice.
if I'm not mistaken.
I remember like that.
Let me double check.
That's in the Yellow Snow.
Yeah, it's called Yellow Snow
Hey, were you plugging that phone?
Live Resin Sauce. Hit those likes, guys. Thank you for hitting the
You
likes.
got all those for free.
Yeah, I won
The
it.
winner.
I'm a winner.
Winner.
I was the winner. Hey, Farce, good to see you. I'm glad you made it in. Yeah, you gotta do your laundry now. Excuse me. Pardon me. Hey. Yeah, I'm a winner, man. I'm the winner. Bro, I'm the winner. I hate to say it. I mean, I know you hate to hear it because there can only be one winner. So when it's not you, of course you hate hearing it. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's now. Hi, Merson. Man. Well, that's no. This is primarily, I married an airman. An airman. She was in the Air Force. That's who I married. Yeah, these are good ones. Hey, what are you doing? C-Wag, what happened? Did they ban you from the other rooms now? So you're back here? Is that what happened? It's all right, man. We always welcome you back. No worries, bro. Jeffrey Schreiber, how's it going, bro? Long time no see, man. What's going on, man? How's the year treating you? Things are going pretty swell over here. You don't realize what you got until it's gone. Is that right? Is that what you're trying to say, C-Wag? You thought we were driving you crazy. You thought you hated us, but then you saw what else was out there, and you're like, I hate these guys the most. Everyone else is slightly more likable. Not these two. Where have you guys been for the past couple of weeks? Well, Joy, as you know, got recalled back into she's in special forces. So she had to go on this weird mission. It was in Target. There was some weird, I don't know, like an undercover sting they were doing. Something about the bosses, some DEI shit. Anyway, so she was undercover Joy at Target the last 2 weeks, so she has not been around. Me, on the other hand, I have been trying to get my shit together because I got to meet. I don't have it scheduled yet, but I'm trying to get it scheduled with Elon Musk next time he comes to Vegas. So I've been super busy with that. What's going on with you guys? Yeah, Target. It's going to be super dangerous, but perhaps you didn't hear. She was successful. The CEO resigned. So, hey, everybody, Joy, thank you for your service. The CEO of Target has resigned. It was a deep-seated undercover mission. They don't even know what happened. Yeah, exactly. Sounds good, brother. You all staying nice and busy. Yeah, I know. I Cure, appreciate it, man. Really appreciate it. Joy's doing. That doesn't even make sense. I think there's either a verb or a noun missing there. My last story was so good, but why can't you say that word? Is Elon going to play my wife? I don't think so. Elon and Joy do not like each other. Those two go way back before you bought Twitter. Back in the day, back when Elon was getting high with Tiesto, when Tiesto was down here in Vegas, before Elon even did anything with Vegas, Joy and Elon went at it. And of course, blocked. She gets blocked by the governor. She gets blocked by Elon Musk. She gets blocked by Apple Beats. It's like, Joy, how does a private business block someone? I mean, that doesn't even make sense. I mean, what could you possibly do to have Apple Beats block you? Wait, Apple Beats what? Wait, there's Apple. Okay, this is what's confusing about Apple. I don't know these people. I hate this chat. Well, C-Wag, if you know your history at all, you're not too far from the truth. Why do you think we never went back to Mars? I blew that one. Why do you think we never went back to the moon? Armstrong went up there and was like, hey man, there's no booze, there's no drugs, there's no party, there's nothing. Let's check out the next moon. Oh man. Check out C-Wag wrapping up the chat, man. You're solo. You were the solo engager. Wow, this new Prism app has really got some hurts on it, doesn't it? It's really so smooth. I mean, I kind of prefer like more like the old kung fu movies, you know, where it's like a little choppy. Yeah. So okay. So yeah, Elon and Joy went at it. Governor went at it.
Sislek, I'm not a fan of.
Right. Oh yeah. Back to your point. Look up your history. Okay. No one was going to settle in Seattle, in the Pacific Northwest. No one was going to settle the Northwest Territory. They didn't even have cows up there. Do you know that? They didn't even have cows up there. It was a big deal when they shipped a cow from California. Everybody was like raving about it. It was like, I mean, yeah, I know. It was 1800s. I mean, you guys can imagine? Like you guys are all like, hey man, when are we going to fly to the moon? They're like, dude, when are we going to get a cow?
Get some beef.
Yeah, they wanted some beef. So no one was going to settle the Northwest. So why don't you just go look for the first 100 years of Seattle, Washington, Northwest Territory? Just look at the number one source of internal revenue income. Where did it come from? What was Washington State's at the time, Northwest Territories, number one, what do you call it? GDP? They call it GDP for a territory. I didn't even know what they called it back then. What was their number one gross domestic product? What was the number one thing that generated the most revenue? No, it wasn't shipping because we didn't have any ports yet. There's no ports invented on the West Coast. So shipping was not their big revenue source. No, there was no banks out there. So there's no finance. You can't, the revenue wasn't coming from the finance. Real estate? Dude, they're pretty much, if you just showed up there, you got the land for free. You said, this is mine, take it. Sure, claim it. Do something with it. So I don't think there was any real estate. Close. Very, very close. But they didn't have OnlyFans back then. But they did. Oh, I'm sorry. Are we allowed to say that on this channel? I can't remember. We didn't have the whatever that is. But you know what they did have? Seamstresses. This is a fact. Look it up. Seamstresses was the number one business that generated money in the Pacific Northwest like the first 100 years. Now I'm sure you guys are gonna fucking clip it and fact check me and tell me I'm all wrong or I'm incorrect. But for the most part, there was a period of time when primarily the main business there was these seamstresses. And what the seamstresses do is that they would tailor the men's clothes. Big business. So the men would say, shit, let's travel all the way up to Pacific Northwest and get our clothes tailored. And that's kind of what I got the miners up there, got all the workers up there, and kind of started selling up there. Do you like George Soros? I don't know who George Soros is. Is that wrong of me? Pike's Linda Newton must be from Seattle. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. Cheers. I'm not saying anything. I'm just pointing out an interesting fact of history because someone early on said that Elon needs to put things on Mars, and I'm like, that's not crazy talk the way like the higher levels people think. I mean, that's not the way. It's not crazy talk. I freaked out in Albuquerque a week or so ago. Some guy, what? Don't say that around here, man. Soros. All right, guys. I don't know what's happening now. I'm gonna go get breakfast. I think that's kind of what's going on, though. See, we're gonna go get some breakfast and get food.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're probably ending the stream. Right?
Yeah. I'll end. We'll get out of here. We'll come back later, guys.
Tomorrow, if not later.
Yeah, we'll probably come back later this afternoon, maybe after the game or something.
Yeah.
Bye, guys. Bye, Snoop. Hi, Snoop.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys. Thanks for a great stream.